right, so today what we're going to do is go over the new oil cooling system for the Evo 5s. We developed here at Speedin Engineering a new ducting kit that increases the efficiency of the Evo 5 oil cooler, allows you to keep the factory components, but just make them more efficient, following a lot of the principles that were done on the later cars, Evo 6 and the Tommy Mackinnon, just applying those to the earlier Evo 5 generation. And what we're going to do is we're going to start by going over some of the engineering and the why, and then talk about the components, and then go through the full installation start to finish. Kicking things off, we'll start with the factory oil cooler and talk a little bit about the why.
The factory oil cooler is actually very nice on the Evo 5. It's a very large size cooler for, what we had as a performance car. So it works really, really well. The problem is ducting was kind of poor. And at the end of the day, Mitsubishi has to make some compromises. That it's a budget performance car. They're not designing Porsches, so they don't have the budget to play with. But this is a way to kind of improve upon the design. And if we can make that oil cooler more efficient, that's what I'm going for here. Is the factory oil cooler is great. So if I can increase the ducting, increase the airflow through that cooler, I can increase that efficiency of that cooler dramatically. With the idea being I can take the factory cooler, leave it in place, not have to deal with routing anything aftermarket, and have a lot better oil cooler performance. So let's go over all the components in the system, starting with the inlet duct that mounts onto the bumper. So this uses as the 4 factory mounting positions. The 5 had a very small bracket, basically this big, this deep. It really didn't do very, very much in terms of channeling that air. So it had a huge opening point on these 3 sides that would allow the air to kind of escape around the oil cooler. So this forces it to face that oil cooler directly. After we pass through the oil cooler, we get into the exit duct portion of the system. Now, it's extremely thin here and designed to kind of slide up between the windshield washer reservoir bottle. That it really didn't leave a lot of space in the 5s, unfortunately. So we have to design a very thin piece here to try to get that exit air captured. After it's captured, pass through this duct, it wedges basically right between where the bumper and the lip meet. So the lip kind of comes right here, and the bumper kind of comes right here in terms of how it's mounted. This is also done in multiple parts, so makes installation a lot easier when you're setting everything up. And then this is the outer duct portion here, and this is just going to come kind of raw. You can leave it black, you can paint it completely, you can leave the little black slats in there like I did, whatever you're interested in terms of the design. But this is another separate piece. So how you would set this up is the last piece in the kit is a template. So as we can go over in detail during the installation, this is designed to mate up to a factory line on that lip, and line up with that, make your cuts with a drill and a Dremel. This outer piece will then slip into that cut. From the inside of the lip, you'll bring this guy in, attach it, 3 mounting bolts. So this is now secured, basically wedging that bumper, or I should say actually the lip, it's wedging the lip. And then this will come in, slide up in between where, again, the washer reservoir and this side is the oil cooler. So wedge up in between there, mounts here, 2 factory spots. So you can, again, use factory clips, mount it up. And then the last piece is, like we said, the front part, the 4 mounting clips. And then you have a fully ducted Evo 5 oil cooler. Here's a look at the 5 underneath. And as I mentioned, you can see here, no ducting, really to kind of support the airflow to this. There's only a small little flap right here, which, I mean, I guess there's some effect to that, but ultimately this whole section here is just wide open. But the 6s and the TMEs have a very nice duct sitting here. Actually, I sell that if you're missing it. They have a very nice duct that mates the bumper and gets the airflow right onto the oil cooler face. Now, that's part 1, getting to the cooler. Part 2 is getting it out. And remember I mentioned before, there's those little slats. Well, look what's in the way. Your tank holding all your washer fluid and your kind of intercooler sprayer, these 2 pumps, it's blocking the entire thing. You have this small gap sitting here right in the back, and that's pretty much all you've got. and the air is sort of expected to find its way back to here, or kind of just dumping at the bottom of the car. But that's not really very efficient. I think we can do better. And looking at this, I kind of was very interested by this kind of dual lip design that they had. So this outer, that lower valence lip is actually a separate piece, you know, bolted on and attached in various spots across the bumper. And that gave like a nice little idea where I said, hey, if I have a piece that can kind of just slide in there like that, that would basically mate to this outer portion I said before, this guy here, create a sandwich on this lower lip. And then what I do is I just take this outer, this oil exit portion, slide it right in the back here. There we go. And now what we can do is we can also take a look at the fitting of the factory duct to the brakes on the 5s. And without any clips in place, obviously I don't want to fall off here, but fits in place even with the factory ducting. And you can see all my little dots on here from where I was laser scanning it. The way to align this is there's a small little seam line here. There you go, right there. And you want to take this stencil and line that edge up with that seam line. Then what you do is you bring it down until you're sitting right about in the middle. So right about here. And then simply tape everything in place. Basic tools you'll need: drill, 8mm drill bit, center punch to get your holes lined up, some sort of Dremel or something to cut the plastic with, probably some sort of reciprocation saw. This is probably your best bet. In terms of what wheel to use, like I said, I like to use the one that has like looks like a little saw blade. That's probably the best for plastic. Some sort of safety goggles when you're cutting that plastic, and then gloves don't hurt, so we're gonna go with that as well. But yeah, let's get this going. So first thing I'm gonna do is take my center punch, and I'm gonna take these 3 holes here and start there. So try to get as center as possible. All right, so here's a look at the duct in place on the car. And you can see the pass through here. That's okay, I got it, thanks. And then this is before any sort of painting or screws are in place. It's actually being held together right now just by the friction of the cut. And then up underneath here, there's where it meets the side. And then right to the back of the oil cooler here. So all we're missing is just adding my ducting on the front of the oil cooler, and then we have a full functionally pass through for the factory oil cooler on the Evo 5s.
And here's a look at the front duct mounted to the bumper, utilizing the 4 factory screw mounting positions going on top of the grill there. And this duct then creates a full system from the front bumper all the way through the oil cooler to the exit to increase the efficiency of the Evo 5 oil cooler. And there's an underview of the whole package. And if we put some smoke through it, we can see a nice little visual representation of how the air is traveling in the inlet there and then exiting the exhaust on the side of the bumper, integrating nicely into that factory front lip, mimicking the Tommy Mackin style. And if you're looking for this kit for the opposite side for a transmission or a double oil cooler, there's also a mirror image of this that you can purchase.
One more thing I want to talk about here before we finish up, and that's the Evo 6 and the Tommy Mackin edition of the Evo 6. Now, what was cool is on those cars, they did come with a really nice bumper inlet. This is the Evo 6 version we sell on the site. We also have a Tommy Mackin version if you're interested in that. If your car's missing yours, it should have this duct going from the bumper to the oil cooler. So if you don't have it, grab one on our site, get that to the way that it was supposed to be from the factory. So Mitsubishi understood that, hey, let's get that air ducted appropriately to the oil cooler. And this is the oil cooler side, and we'll get a bit more efficiency of the oil cooler. Now, what they also did was they realized that, hey, well, once that air comes in, we got to get it out. So they put vents on the factory bumper. So the Tommy Mackin edition had a triangular vent in the kind of the front splitter area. And that's kind of what I was going for here, is kind of trying to integrate it to the same little triangle as the Tommy Mackin edition. And then the Evo 6 had that vertical one that kind of went on the side of the bumper there. But they realized that, hey, we got to get the air in nicer, and let's get the air out. They didn't have the center section here. They didn't have the back of the oil cooler to the vent. And my thought behind that is, as being, an ex-Honda R&D engineer, having been on the inside what these conversations are like, they're usually not fun and exciting like we're going to talk about. Because a lot of people are like, oh, it's a performance thing. It's this, it's that. No, nine times out of 10, guys, it's boring. It's cost. It's cost, or it's like something like corrosion warranty. That's probably 90% of the decisions that get made behind the scenes on why certain engineering decisions go. So it's probably a lot cheaper to say, hey, you know what, we're going to save the 5 cents per car, 10 cents per car it would cost for this duct, or some sort of factory installation procedure where, hey, the bumper goes on, and because this sits between the oil cooler and the washer fluid reservoir, it would have to be a separate installation step during manufacturing. So that cost alone would be way, way too much for the benefit they're going to get. But here in the aftermarket, we don't have a lot of those concerns. So we can say, you know what, it's worth it for us to increase the efficiency of the oil cooler by having this. So if you have an Evo 6 or Tommy Mackin edition, we have ducting for that as well to kind of complete this system. So something similar to what Porsche would do. Porsche would duct it from the beginning to the exit, because for them, the cost per car is worth it. They have a lot more margin to play with than Mitsubishi had with the Evo. With that in mind, if you want to take your Evo 6 and Tommy Mackin and give it a full system like this, we have the front system if you're missing yours. The exit duct, I hope you have, because it's attached to your bumper. And if you need the middle piece, the missing part, we have that as well. So that's an Evo 6 version right there. It's all one color. This is a prototype version, so don't mind that. But the 6 and the TME, you can increase the efficiency of your oil cooler by getting this last little section here. So yeah, if there's any questions, check out the site or shoot me a message.